Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. You know, we're all familiar with the glamour companies that we all know about, the Afterpays of the world, Seeks, Kogans, and so forth and so on. But there are a lot of products and a lot of companies that operate behind the scenes. And these are the products that make the world work, whether it's design, innovation, medical technology, pumps, these types of products. And with us today is an incredibly special company, Hydrix, and their managing director, Gavin Coote, to discuss just these types of products. Anyway, I could sit here and talk about it, but I know you all want to hear from the man himself. And with that introduction, Gavin, welcome to 18 Minutes with 180 Markets.
Excellent, Greg. Great to be here today. Thanks for having us on your show.
Absolutely, Gavin. Hey, Gavin, everybody likes a story. Even whether they love your teams or hate your teams, they want to know your story. Can you tell us, how did you get from a kid to where you are today?
Well, thanks, Greg. I don't want to bore the audience too much with great personal details, but if I reflect on my sort of 25-year plus career, you know, one of the things that I really enjoy is working with great people to build great companies. I've got a pretty diverse set of experiences. And today, you know, I think we're all about trying to develop a fantastic business, a great Aussie tech company success story at Hydrix. Prior to joining Hydrix, I had an executive director role at a company called Imperium Capital Group here in Melbourne as a private equity style buy, build and invest company, which I did for over 15 years. And that culminated in you know, a handful of really successful business exits. And prior to that, I spent about 11 years in the US, largely working in corporate strategy roles with US-based companies. One of those was you know, a fantastic technology company we grew. It was a listed company. We grew from $100 million to $1 billion in 4 years and sold it for about $3.6 billion. And you know, even today, while working with a lot of those people, some of them are dear friends of mine, because when you're building a company like that and growing so quickly, it's all about people putting shoulder to shoulder and really getting on with the task at hand and building something you can all be proud of when you look back. Moved back, obviously, to Melbourne, as I said, about 15 years ago. And how I came into Hydrix, the major shareholder, John King, actually asked me to join the board as a NED in January 2017 to help him reshape the business. The company at the time was known as Panorama Synergy. It was focused on developing early stage research into licensed MEMS technology for spectrometer applications. In November 2017, we acquired a company called Hydrix, which was a 15-year-old world-class product design and engineering company. And then we later rebranded the whole group, Hydrix Limited, as we know it today.
Wow, that's definitely a diverse background for sure. And I think that the one point that really strikes me is when you're building a fast-growing company, as you say, in your words, working shoulder to shoulder. Obviously, it means that you know something about how to be a people person and how to manage people and how to, you know, GTD, get things done. You know, delving into a little bit more, as I said, you know, in the introduction, people may not necessarily be familiar with Hydrix, with those products, with design and engineer. Can you just describe the Hydrix approach and, you know, maybe keep it at a high level, if you will?
Yeah, sure. Look, Greg, I think it's really important for the audience to understand what Hydrix is. And at the end of the day, Hydrix is a powerful product innovation company. You know, our purpose, and every company has a purpose, ours is to enhance the health, safety and well-being of 1 billion lives. And we're doing this through multiple growth platforms here today. The first one is the Hydrix Services business itself. And as you asked, you know, what do we do? We help clients move from research to development and commercialization of products which transform markets. We do this in sectors including medical, medical devices, mining, industrial and rail. And ultimately, these products all rely on safety and mission critical engineering. That is, if those products were to fail, someone could get hurt or die. The engineering cohort, well, it's effectively a one-stop shop from a design and engineering perspective. So we have industrial, mechanical, software, electronics, and systems design engineers, as well as for our medical clients, a regulatory and clinical services capability. And we've had the, you know, the great opportunity to work with some other Australian ASX-listed companies, such as MicroX, which is the world's most portable X-ray machine. Recently, a company called Memphisys in bioseparation device used for IVF. And these are successful public companies, and Hydrix has been really proud to be on the journey with those clients. Our second platform of growth and how we take that product innovation from our engineering cohort is through Hydrix Ventures. This enables us to capture more of the product innovation value we create for our clients, and we acquire minority investments through a cash or equity in kind for some of the services we render. Today, for example, we've got approximately 3 different investments at a cost basis of about $3 million, where we've acquired a 5 to 15% equity position in these companies. And these are those with high potential medical device technology companies, where we're engaged in significant design and engineering work. And stick with me here, Greg. The third platform, again, it's all about how do we create more value from this powerful product innovation and commercialization capability. And this particular entity is Hydrix Medical, which is all about bringing tech-rich cardiovascular technologies to Asia-Pac, which improve patient quality of life and patient mobility. What's really interesting here is, Greg, cardiovascular disease afflicts about 14% of the global population and is the cause of about 31% of deaths. Our first portfolio product here is from AngelMed, their Guardian device, which is the world first implantable early warning heart attack alert device. And it's designed to get patients at risk of having a heart attack to hospital faster and hopefully avoid a catastrophic event. So it's a fantastic platform of growth and opportunity we've got in the company. And it is absolutely all about the people at the end of the day, Greg. The powerful product innovation capability exists because of our extraordinary talent and highly committed workforce.
Absolutely. And, you know, I guess to jump in a little bit, the AngelMed product, if you could describe it, it's FDA approved already, right? I'd imagine a target market, you know, a total addressable market, if you will, could be billions and billions of dollars, just because, as you said, you know, about 14% of people suffer from it. Can you just describe your go-to market strategy with a product like that? Like, how do you know, it's all well and good to have the product, getting it out there is quite another story. Can you just discuss, you know, the Hydrix philosophy or how you're going about it?
Yeah, so fantastic, Greg. So we've got exclusive rights to distribute the product in about 8 Asia-Pac countries, including Singapore, Australia, and Japan. And across these jurisdictions, there's about 500,000 people that suffer from an acute coronary syndrome event each year, for example, a heart attack or unstable angina attack. The patient's symptoms alone aren't always recognisable and reliable, and approximately 45% of heart attacks are silent. That is, a patient has no symptoms at all. And the risk of dying from a recurring heart attack is about twice that from an initial heart attack. So, you know, these patients represent a large addressable market opportunity for Hydrix. And for context, if we were to acquire 1% market share of just the top 4 markets that we're focused on in Asia-Pac, that has the potential to translate into $35 million of annual revenue of Guardian system device sales to Hydrix.
Wow. And so even a 1% share, which is, you know, the tiniest bit, if you will, that generates 35 mil of sales. That's pretty incredible. And and then also, I don't know, do you know what type of margin would that type of product entail? Did you break it out that way?
Yeah, it's a great question there, Greg. And so, you know, part of your question was, well, how are we going to bring this product to market? And so a couple of markets like Australia and Singapore will sell direct into cardiologists and or hospitals. In other parts of our jurisdictions, such as Japan, we'll sell through sub-distribution arrangements there. And so depending on how those commercial arrangements shake out and what reimbursement schemes are in place, there's no direct predicate device today in Australia, for example, that's got a pricing on it. In the US, their pricing is about $10,000 per device. And so if we're to secure 10,000 Australian dollars in the Australian marketplace, that's what shapes our potential for that $35 million. At those sorts of range of numbers, we anticipate we'd have gross margins of probably around about 50%.
Wow, it's incredible. Now, along with products, and forgive me for not quite understanding, there's also your servicing segment of your business. And, you know, people love servicing because obviously it's a recurring nature of a revenue stream. Can you just discuss the Hydrix servicing business, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so Hydrix Services generated just around $15 million of revenues in fiscal 2020. And that's primarily done on a fee-for-service basis under a contract arrangements that we have with our clients. Today, while in the COVID environment, we've had a little bit of slowing and deferral of some existing and prospective clients. The pipeline of $50 million remains a really healthy book of business from which we can work in fiscal 2021. And so when we take a client on the journey from sometimes concept all the way through to commercialization, we have different fee structures in contract programs that we generate our revenue out of that services business. Today, a majority of our revenue is from the services business. In the future, we anticipate high potential growth through the ventures investment capital gains, plus through lots of product revenues to come through the Hydrix medical part of the business.
Right, but it's obviously like especially in the short term, that servicing business as a business gives you a great sense of cash flow and certainty. Is that a good way to think about it?
Spot on, Greg. Today, who's paying the bills? Hydrix Services is paying the bills for the group and supporting our growth ambitions.
Right. It's just like the parents pay the mortgage for the kids when they go away, right?
I don't want my kids to hear that, Greg, so don't bring that up.
Exactly. You mentioned briefly COVID. Can you just discuss, COVID's affected all of us. I mean, obviously we're in lockdown right now. Can you just discuss it from a Hydrix point of view, if you don't mind?
Yeah, look, I think, it impacts people in different ways. And, fortunately, we've been able to seamlessly move to a remote work from home program for all of our employees, which has meant that there's been no interruptions for our clients. I think some of the quality of life benefits of people being able to make sure they're home for dinner with their families and still be able to have some flexibility in the way they continue to build projects for our clients. It's actually, all things considered, there are some positive aspects of work, remote work from home, I guess. In terms of how that has some of COVID impacted the Hydrix medical ambitions, we'd anticipated undertaking our first implant sales in the March quarter. We are very excited at this stage. We anticipate these first sales and implants are actually going to take place here in the September quarter under an approved early access scheme in Singapore. We're really excited about that, and we'll keep the market apprised, in this quarter and update them on how we progress with that.
Yeah, so it sounds like what it's done is it's slowed things down, but it hasn't really halted anything per se.
100%, Greg. Yeah, and I think, that's it. And you asked about what is the impact of COVID. Part of it is you've got to be an adaptable organisation and still find ways to keep progressing your business. And what's going to be quite phenomenal with the implants in Singapore is that the implants there will be supported both on the ground and in Australia and in the US by Hydrix and Angel Medical. We're getting on with the business of being in business despite some of the COVID interruptions.
Absolutely. Now, obviously also you got to get to the corner to get around the corner, which means you need the right balance sheet in place. You just come off a capital raise. Can you just discuss the state of the balance sheet, if you will?
Yeah, look, a fantastic question, Greg. Yes, so look, our pro forma cash on hand at 30 June was approximately $4.2 million. And that's after paying down $750,000 of debt and including net funds received from both the entitlement offer and the placement offer that we announced in July. So we're well placed from a cash on hand. And further, despite the COVID-19 interruptions in the fourth quarter, the company achieved a quarterly cash operating profit. And this was a result of swift action by management to implement cost-saving initiatives, resulting in monthly cost adjustments of approximately 20%. So look, on this basis and these actions that we've taken and what we know today, the cash on hand should support the business well into the fiscal 2021.
Okay, so it sounds like we're in great shape then from that point of view, or certainly as in good shape as we possibly could be.
Yeah, correct.
Gavin, when I think about Hydrix, I think of, innovation, multiple platforms, go-to-market strategy. Is that the type of picture you would like to paint for us investors?
Yeah, look, I think that's right, Greg. This powerful product innovation capability of the company, it's a real differentiator. It's why our clients globally come to us. So we've got great clients out of the Northern Hemisphere, great clients here in Australia. And it's what we can do to capture more of the value we create and then leverage that product innovation capability to find ways to create even more value, which is what we've described in the ventures and the Hydrix medical part. But the Hydrix services business at its core, it's got great long-term growth prospects, and we're really excited about the team that's been assembled.
Gavin, I know you've been very busy. You've got board meetings, you've just finished your capital raise, and you've got the business of getting on with business. In closing, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And we very much, 180, we did participate in the capital raise, and we very much look forward to the journey with you.
Fantastic, Greg. It's great to have you and your investor cohort on board. We're here. The business is in good, capable hands. So we're really excited about the business's prospects.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gavin. Be well.
Thanks, Greg. Cheers.
Bye-bye.